Hi, my name is Rain, and I'm the owner of Pop Fitness. Welcome to part 2 of my weight loss series. Okay, something I need to go ahead and get out of the way first. All of the information I'll be sharing during this weight loss series is generic information. If you need additional information, like a meal plan, or if you have an eating disorder, or if you have a metabolic condition like diabetes, I highly recommend that you contact a registered dietitian in your area. They've received adequate training and education to build the perfect meal plan for you specifically. Okay, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top tips and tricks to take your statistics and measurements when you decide that you want to lose weight. I recommend that you take all of them because it'll be nice to have this information to compare later on. Okay, let's start with the weight. So first of all, I like to take this about 1 to 2 times per week, first thing in the morning before I've had anything to eat or drink. Preferably the night before you shouldn't have exercised or had a high sodium meal or had any alcohol. All of these things can affect your total water weight retention and ultimately your weigh-in. I also like to use a weight trending app like Happy Scale because it gives me a more general idea of how much I'm actually losing, and it goes ahead and accounts for all of these small fluctuations in water weight. All right, so to take your resting heart rate, I recommend that you take this measurement first thing in the morning, and preferably you shouldn't be moving around for about 10 to 15 minutes before you take this statistic. You'll want to take your pulse either through your carotid artery or in your wrist. You can use whichever one is most convenient for you. What you want to do is set a timer for 15 seconds and count how many beats you notice in that 15 seconds. Then you'll multiply that number by 4. That will be your resting heart rate. Now, if you have an activity tracker or a smartwatch, they might actually give you your resting heart rate for you, and you can expect, if you're healthy, for your resting heart rate to fall anywhere between 60 and 100 beats per minute. All right, so we're going to talk about your estimated VO2 max. Now, this is your total cardiorespiratory capacity, and it shows essentially your total cardiovascular fitness. Now, there's many tests to go ahead and take this, but I'm going to recommend either the Rockport walk test or the step test. All right, let's talk about the Rockport walk test. What it's going to do is give you your estimated VO2 max. You want to start with a quick 10-minute warm-up where you're walking briskly on a treadmill. Then you want to start your timer and walk 1 mile. At the end of the mile, you're going to record how long it took you to get there and also your heart rate. Then you can plug this in to a calculator online, and that will give you your estimated VO2 max. I'm going to include a calculator like that in the description box below. Okay, let's talk about the step test. Now, you'll want to have a step that's about 12 inches, and you might want to use a metronome app to make sure that you're keeping the correct pace. You'll want to make sure to step at least 96 times per minute, and you'll want to step continuously for 3 minutes total. At the end, when your timer goes off, you'll want to sit down and after 1 minute, check your heart rate. Compare that to a chart, and that will give you your estimated VO2 max and your cardiovascular capacity. Again, I'll make sure to leave that in the description box so it's easy for you to find. Okay, we're going to take our measurements. I like to take my measurements in 5 separate places, and I like to take these statistics at least once every 2 weeks. Now, you'll want to find a way to make sure that your measurements are as consistent as possible. You can see here that I'm going to measure my chest, and I like to do this just around nipple height to make sure that it's consistent each and every time. Then I like to go ahead and measure my waist. I'm going to use my belly button here, again, just for the sake of consistency. Then I'm going to measure my bicep. Now, you can go ahead and measure both of them. It's pretty common for them to not be exactly the same size, but you'll want to take this measurement flexed. So make sure to get the measuring tape completely around the largest portion of your bicep. Now, this one can be kind of tricky to do on your own. As you can see, I'm kind of struggling here. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right, then we're going to take our hip measurement. Ladies, you'll want to take this around the largest portion of your butt. And then your thigh. I like to do this around mid-thigh just for consistency's sake. Now, the last place that we're going to take our measurement is totally optional, but I find that if you're overweight or obese, you might see some significant changes in the neck. To take this measurement, you'll want to do this in front of a mirror so you can actually see. And that's how you take your measurements. Like I said, at least once every 2 weeks. Now, this is the sit and reach test. This is going to give you a general idea about your current flexibility. You'll want to sit with your back flat against the wall and a measuring tape to your side. You're going to mark the point right next to your heel as 0. Then you're going to reach as deeply as you can 3 times. Then you're going to see how far before or after 0 you were able to reach. Compare this to a chart, which I'll have in the description box below to get your general flexibility. Awesome, let's talk about progress photos. Now, you'll want to take 3 separate poses, front, side, and back. Ladies, you'll want to wear something tight or a bikini. Men, you'll want to take this with your shirt off because most men carry their weight mainly in the stomach area. Now, you'll want to have your full body in the shot and you want to have the lighting consistent. You want to take front, side, and back with a plain background. You can see here that when you don't have a plain background, it makes the photo really visually distracting. You also want to make sure that you're taking the photo from the same angle every time. You can see here, her pose is the same, but they're taking it from multiple angles. At the end of the day, you just want to make sure that it's consistent each and every time. Now, this is a great photo, but I recommend that you go ahead and raise your arms on the side pose. This will show more progress in your actual stomach. Now, you also don't want to manipulate the light too heavily because I think that this is kind of cheating. As you can see here, you want to make sure that the lighting and the background and everything is as consistent as possible each and every single time. Now, here is a great progress photo, but you want to make sure not to wear baggy clothing because it can ultimately hide how much you've actually lost and the physical changes that have happened in your body. You also want to refrain from taking partial body shots, shots in a mirror, or any kind of selfie progress photos. These can be heavily manipulated, and I think they're not consistent. Now, this is the perfect progress photo. The pose is the same, the background is simple, the lighting is perfect, and she's raising her arms to the side. We can see exactly how much she's lost and how much has changed in her physique. Now, men, you can take partial body shots if you'd like to, since you generally tend to hold more fat in the abdominal region. But again, don't cover your stomach with your arm. As you can see here, it makes a huge difference. So to recap, you want to take 3 separate poses, front, side, and back. On the side pose, you'll want to raise your arms so that your stomach is completely visible. Ladies, you'll want to wear a bikini or tight clothing. Men, you should have your shirt off. Now, you don't want to take any partial body shots, and you want to make sure that your photo is exactly the same each and every time. The angle, the lighting, the background. The background should be as simple and consistent as possible. You'll want to take this photo at least once every single month just to make sure you're on track. That's it for today's video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the description box below. Otherwise, stay tuned for further videos in my weight loss series. Again, I have a beginner's program that includes all of this information and more available on my website at pop.fitness. It's called Evolve the Healthy Lifestyle Transition Plan. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.